In past videos, I've gone over how I really don't know much about my brothers, sisters, and families because they're not really open with their downsides. And I've gone over the downsides that are visible to me. Sister being stuck up, brother having anger issues, me with drugs, my nephew with girls and women, my father with money and greed and not caring about his own son's well-being, my mother with crazy nutty behaviors and trying to get other people hurt and getting away with crimes and horrible lies and things like that. We all have our bad sides, and there's even more than that. When it comes to my sister, my brother, there's a lot more than that, but nothing really terrible. And as far as me, there's a lot more good stuff that's unbelievable, like my religious nature or these humongous good deeds that I do out of nowhere. Like, when my father gets in trouble, I just wipe all the debt right there and then. And then he screws me, and I still back him right then and there. And then he screws me, and we still back him right then and there. Stuff like that, you know. I don't get health care, don't get an education, don't get a car, don't get to drive, don't get to go to college, don't get to work a job, don't get to have my health. I don't get to have my inheritance. I don't get my own social security even when it's needed and other people with 1/100th of my disabilities are getting it. And most of all, I don't even get to have my own civil and human rights. Everybody in my family is allowed to violate those. They can come and break the law as they please as long as it's against me. If they want to get in trouble with the Department of Health and Human Services and do stuff with money they're not supposed to, that's okay because Zach will bail me out. They want to steal my inheritance and play a trick on me, that's okay. Zach won't complain. He won't come and beat me up with a hammer for stealing from him. Never would Zach ever do that. Zach will just sit there and take it, and then we can throw him out of the house. He'll sit there and take it. I have no fear that there's any consequences for my actions, is my family's attitude. So there's always more to it. But in this video, we're going to go over some of the things I'm thinking of to try to keep myself positive. And that's the positive nature of some of the family members I have. Like my father is a hard worker, and he's very knowledgeable, and he's very together. He also knows how to control his alcohol. He drinks every day, but it's never been a problem. My sister, she works hard. She worked for the government. She got a great start. Somebody gave her a great start, and she did good with it. She has a good husband. She picked out a good husband. They both are very intelligent. They both seem to know what the right thing is to do, and most of the time do it. Except for when it comes to me again. When it comes to me, I'm disposable in my family. You just got to get that straight. When you get that, everything makes sense. Oh, Zach's disposable to them. Oh, now that makes sense. Oh, so that's why they treat you like that. Because you're less than human. Oh, now it all makes sense. Oh, oh, yeah, okay. So what you're saying, Zach, and what they're saying, and what this other person's saying, what this other person's saying, it all makes sense once when we realize you're disposable. So, yeah. But other than me, everybody else, and no, they would treat really good. They do very good. When it comes to me, they stay out of it though. If my mother wants to do horrible things and it's very visible that I'm hurting, it's okay for me to be hurting in the corner, skinny, underweight, shaking out on the beach, not able to stand up, having problems, very clear medical problems, doctors talking about medical problems, teachers talking about medical problems, and they just take me, move me to Mexico. Oh, sorry, El Paso, on the border of Mexico. I think my mother wanted to run to Mexico, but they wouldn't take her. She's like, let's run to Mexico. Wait a minute. The federales won't take me? Oh shit. Okay, let's just go to El Paso. Same shit. That's a joke I have in my stand up. I hope you like that one. Yeah, not the best. I have that one written down in a better way so when I say it, it actually has a good setup. Yeah, I had such a bad mother. She had to flee to Mexico. That's how bad she was. Yes, we had to go to El Paso, Texas because the federales wouldn't take her. Yeah, that's how bad a mother my mother was. You think you had a bad mother? Oh, yeah. My mother would be in the corner talking to other mothers, and they would hear one mother go, "Oh, I washed my kid out with a bar of soap because he said bitch today. Oh, yeah. I gave my daughter a whole bottle of hot sauce on the tongue. Hot sauce on the tongue I gave her, all because she called me a fucking retard. Oh, yeah. My child went outside, ate a mushroom, and repeated that eating mushrooms means he's committing suicide. So you know what I did? I gave him a full bottle of Epicac and destroyed his stomach and esophagus, making him vomit in such a severe way that he has permanent acid reflux. Yeah, beat that one, moms. What? Yeah, that was my mom. So yes, when the shit hit the fan, my mother wanted to run to Mexico. And she went down. We drove all the way down to Mexico, and the federales wouldn't take her. So then we settled in El Paso. That's part of one of my lines and jokes. The truth is, my father got a job offer, and my father did not want to take it. My father said, "No, we're not moving. No, we're not moving." My mother said, "Yes, I want to go and get a change of scenery. I want to get out of trouble. Come on, let's drive away in this getaway car already. Come on, you just gave me a great getaway card. You just put a card on the table, get away. Come on, I want to pick that card up," my mother says. You just put a card on the table called get out of trouble, get away, and drop everything and get a new start. I want a new start, my mother says. So she picks up that card my father put on the table and says, "I want to move to Texas. I want this new start." And it's a good thing she took that new start too, because with all the doctors and teachers catching on, I would have got the help I needed. I would have got a neurologist. I would have been put on epilepsy medication, and my mother would have been in real trouble, and I wouldn't have been allowed to live there. My father would have been embarrassed. But instead, they hit the button, reset, and moved me to Texas, then moved me to New Mexico, then moved me to Maine, then moved me to Mass, then moved me to Haverhill, then moved me to Lawrence, then moved me to Chelmsford, and in between this is Maine, Florida, all these other trips. So there's a lot of movement, and that definitely kept anybody from giving a fuck about me. Oh well, Zach, remember the teacher in Texas? Oh well, Zach was gone in a year. We don't even remember him. The staff members in New Mexico, Zach who? The neighbors in Maine, Zach who? The neighbors in Chelmsford, oh that's Zach with the crazy mother. Yeah, well, he talked about alcohol on the phone one time, and the mother had a lot of alcohol in the house and was acting nutty, so we just cut it off. The teachers in Chelmsford, yeah, we remember Zach a little bit, but he was always very twitchy. That's all we remember. Then the teachers in the other one, we don't remember anything. We were in the hallway scamming them out of money. All I remember is letting them play with the toys and going out the door. So you don't remember Zach at all. I don't even remember if we had a Zach. I remember letting them play with toys and there was a scam there. That's it. And I'm sorry, but the court's already filed with that. I did my time for that. So yeah, we scammed the system and we got some money from the system and there was no actual classes for Zach. But I don't know if there was a Zach there. I don't remember any of these kids' names. Okay, how about the doctor in Westford? They remember me, right? Well, I remember some kid coming in with a crazy mother saying that he had some allergy attack, and that was weird. I remember some weird allergy attack, but that's it. I don't remember anything. And how about the people in Texas? How about the next door neighbors? Well, I remember Zach always being a hyper kid who was really slow and had a lot of education problems. He just moved here from another state and he was really, really behind. But my mother forgot to tell them I redid first grade and I moved around. And when we first moved there, I had to redo the whole grade there. So I was already 2 grades behind by the time I got to Texas. I had to spend 1 year redoing a grade so they could evaluate what level I was at. I redid first grade because my mother yelled at the teacher to do that. The teacher wanted me to go to second grade, and my mother said, no, I want him older than the other kids. I want him older than the other kids. So that really brought me back 2 years in my grades. But when we moved to Texas, I'm they had me beyond it. Plus, I'm actually able to complete a lot of the work, but they have me redoing a lot of the same fucking work, same shit over and over and over just to evaluate what level I'm at. And I'm sick and tired of it. Pick a grade and get me started already. But they figure they got time to work with me and catch me up. The problem is that then I get taken out of there and I'm brought to New Mexico. So the teachers there are like, Zach who? We don't remember Zach. We had a Zach for maybe a year, but we don't remember him moving on to the next grade or the next grade. Next grade for 4 years we didn't see Zach. We saw Zach for 1 year and then poof, he was gone. So most people don't remember me at all. Now that's not their fault. Most kids grow up in at least 2 towns and that's it. They're in their childhood. They're born in Westford. They spend up to age 10 in Westford. Their parents move at age 10 years old. And then they stay in Chelmsford for another 8, 10 years. Then when the kid is 20, the parents move again and say, you're on your own. You're 20 years old. Have fun. We're moving to Florida. And then that's the last move. In my case, I was moved from from my mother's home to an orphanage to foster care to an adopted mother's home in Westford, adopted mother's home in Westford to El Paso, Texas, El Paso, Texas to New Mexico, New Mexico through Texas up to Maine, Maine down to Chelmsford, Chelmsford down to Haverhill, Haverhill down to Lawrence. In between Haverhill and Lawrence is Maine, 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 Maine. You also got to add in a bunch of vacations here and there. On top of this, then I moved back to Chelmsford, and then I moved to Lowell. Then it's my own decisions from there. Once when I'm dropped into Lowell, then I have to pick my own town, and all I need is medical care and Social Security and a job. But nobody's hiring me. Nobody's giving me Social Security, and the shelter won't let me stay. So I'm living in the woods for about 4 years or so in Lowell, Lawrence, and Haverhill. So that's not going so well. So I moved to New Hampshire because there's an apartment and a job, and it's an old person I used to take care of, so I do that. Now I'm in New Hampshire and I'm in Rochester. There's a stop to Florida while I was homeless, and there was a stop to Pelham, and there was another stop. Well, I already said Lawrence and Haverhill. So I had a lot of movement while I was homeless, living like an animal in the woods. But now I'm in, Rochester for 7 years. I'm working jobs, trying to apply for Social Security. I have an ID, mailing address. Right now I have everything I need to continue moving forward. But nope, my father hit me with a bag of rocks again. And my disability was apparent, and I have to get my disability diagnosed before I can go back to my job. I still have a job, but I can't go back like this, and I need to get diagnosed. I also need to make time for the doctors. I need to make time for Social Security. I need to make time for the landlord's bullshit. So that's a full-time job, and I need to make time for the 84-year-old who can't clean up after himself and has a bunch of health problems, doesn't know how to make his own schedule, doesn't answer his own phone, and all those things have to be done. So, yep, I need to go to the doctors, and the doctors need to give me paperwork on my disability. Easy peasy. Should only take a month or so. Nope, because my doctors see my medical file is up and down and side to side and up and down and confusing, and so they're not willing to put their name on paper that I have a neurological disorder, not until we do 10 years of testing, and I've had lots more injuries in front of them. The problem with that is by the time they get that, I'll be in another state, in another town, moved again. Because I cannot live like an animal in a tree in Rochester, New Hampshire. The winter would kill me and fry me. There are no wild animals surviving through winter up here. Yes, there's a monkey island in South Carolina, and maybe the homeless people can live outdoors year-round there. But I guarantee you, any homeless people living straight in a tent outdoors in Rochester, New Hampshire, will be dead by summer without a propane heater. I know this for a fact because I know one guy who tried, and he had to go into the hospital because he ran out of propane. He tried to keep up with the propane through winter. He ran out, almost died. They had to scrape him up. So yes, don't try to tent up here. It gets too cold. There's not enough shelters, not enough churches, and not enough gas and heat to go around. So no, you cannot survive without an apartment or a place to stay up here in Rochester, New Hampshire. There just is not enough places. And even if you're allowed to use the shelter, a lot of people don't make it. And I'm not allowed to use a shelter, so I have to live outdoors up here. So I'm dead. I'm dead in the water, thanks to my father once again. I'm going to lose my apartment, my job, and I'm going to lose my life just because my father wants to keep secrets and he wants to keep my childhood, the truth about it, a secret. So say a prayer for me, please, because I've already gone through this once and I have permanent injuries to my body for the rest of my life from this neurological disorder already. The next round of injuries is probably going to kill me. I barely made it out the first time. They had to bring me back to life several times. I've had several head injuries, and I'll never be the same from the last run of injuries. And I'm about to go outside and live outside and get an injury every week again, and I'm not really happy about this. Plus, the doctors are just going to treat me shitty because my mother and father haven't given them anything to work with. I'm giving them something to work with, but I'm going to have to spend another 10 years telling them before they do anything. And I got to spend 10 years all in the same place so that they can see seizure after seizure after seizure. And then eventually I'll just be paralyzed. I won't be able to talk anymore. And they'll say, okay, this is definitely real because now we can stab a whole pin through his foot and he doesn't do anything and he can't talk or move. We've thrown him off this table 4 times and he doesn't catch himself. So it must be real.